Hey guys, Mustached Tom here to review the movie Scream 7. So, I've seen the trailers for this, and more importantly, I've seen a fair number of people criticizing this movie, left, right, and center, all over the place on the reviewing side of things, even before I got to see the movie for myself and make up my own mind. But I am here to review this movie as objectively as possible, and I have to say, for one, I am fucking baffled by every critique I have seen come across, whether that be from people I follow or am totally against in terms of grifting. This movie is fine. Is it the worst in the franchise? Nah, I don't think so. I think, I don't know what people were expecting. In preparation for Scream 7, I've rewatched every Scream up until this point. Did a little bit of a Scream marathon, as it were. And yeah, consider me baffled. For those who are unfamiliar with Scream, this will be a spoiler review for Scream 7. Scream, since its inception, has been a meta-horror thriller, with Ghostface as the primary killer, but whoever occupies Ghostface changes from movie to movie. Again, this is going to be a spoiler review for this movie, Scream 7. With that being said, again, I am baffled why people are harping on this one. The quote-unquote flat characters is something I have heard, like the newer characters introduced. Spoiler alert, every Scream since 2 moving onward has introduced newer, flatter characters since, again, 2, so I'm not sure what that critique even fucking means anymore. And in terms of meeting and doing everything in the meta way is something this movie does, just like every other Scream movie does and has done. So I'm gonna go against the grain and say this movie has a meta on top of meta on top of meta that makes it peak. You see, I think it was either Scream 2 or 3. It's one of those two. I forget which one it was, because the ordering is messed up in my head now. But I could digress. One of those two movies, I believe it was Scream 3. I could be wrong, but I'm willing to wager it's closer to 3, so I'll just go with 3 for the time being. I believe it was in Scream 3 that they were doing the whole bit of, the sensationalization of the movie within the movie within the movie being called Stab. And at that time, in Scream 3, they were talking about how, Stab was going to get movies 5, 6, and 7, which is explicitly where we are now. So, the meta predicted the meta that ended up happening within the franchise, and now it's finally complete. I gotta say, if you want to do meta, I don't think you can outdo Scream 7 now. But the plot twist, I guess this is one of the bigger complaints, I'm not even sure why though, is that AI is a big component in this movie. The killer uses AI, and everybody is anti-AI, but it's the bad guy using it, so my brain goes, well, of course the bad guy would use AI. That shit's fucked up. But shit's all over YouTube, and there's not shit we can do about it here on YouTube, because nobody wants to open their fucking mouth and be loud enough to fight to get AI off of our platform, except me, I guess. I did create an entire hashtag movement, and I have no clue if that shit will ever be trending. But I gotta say, I'm disappointed in my fellow reviewers on this one. it really is baffling. Just because, what, this movie is a franchise, just because it follows legendary Sydney and Vicky, sorry, not Vicky Vale, oh god, what was the reporter's name? I only remember Sydney's name. That's the only name popping in my head right now. But, point being, I digress in saying, I'm baffled. This is an easy dunk. So, the AI usage is all in... excuse me. All in order to bring back such actors like Matthew Lillard, the first original killer in Scream 1, excuse me, as well as Dewey, or Dwight, who passed away in the canon in Scream 6, I think that was the previous, or 5, one of those two. And Sydney has a daughter now. She's trying to move on. Her daughter's her age. We have moved within that decade. We have characters from Scream 6 returning. The two reporters there on the right side of the poster, who join are the main reporter. And the killer, or killers, because there's always typically more than one, with one exception. That being the brother of Sydney. That the killers this time around were more of these random people that tangentially knew Sydney. And one of them, again, goes on to exposit, as the killer always does in a Scream movie, about why they are doing what they're doing. So this hit on every Scream trope. Every single fucking one. So I am baffled. Again, this movie is so fucking meta. I think that's the reason. I honestly do think that's the main reason why this movie is getting panned. That's it. I mean, again, if quote, flat characters are people's complaints, there were flat characters in every other Scream movie. Because I can't even remember all the characters' names. That probably includes some of the killers. So yeah, like, consider me, like, saying this movie's fine. In fact, I think what would make Scream 8, yes, because I think this franchise can continue. I think one or two things needs to happen at this point in the franchise. One of two things. One being that you have a different faction of psycho killer that isn't Ghostface. That is also a crazed killer that can also go against Ghostface. So that would be an intriguing, breakaway from the typical trope, and would honestly break the meta at that point. But I do think that Scream can get away with it at this juncture. I mean, honestly. Or you need to outdo the amount of killers/kills you get in your movie, because I am really tired of as many people as surviving as in the past few Scream movies. Like 5, I think that started from all the way from 4, maybe even, and then definitely in 5, 6, and 7, that's for sure. Like, how many people get attacked but then end up surviving at the end of the movie is, like, kind of getting ridiculous, too. So, yeah, like, I can critique that, but again, I think that fits the anti-meta, which I think is actually, it turns the negative into the positive. So again, I go back to my original question. What are people's actual issues with Screen 7? I don't think they have any good excuse. I just think they want to complain just to complain. And that's talking to people that I even look up to in the reviewing space. Your Anthony, I can't say his last name, Birdman, I started an entire series to combat his exposing the grift series and respect the grind, because I do think that series, his series, is a little bit misguided. But I do also disagree with his takeaway, as well as, grifters are just going to complain about everything, regardless, because they can never be satisfied, I guess, with anything that continues on for a long period of time. They don't like franchise. And look, I've always been a proponent of bringing a new thing into the thing. That's why I proposed my first idea of having a different faction for Screen 8. That's the whole reason for it. Have a killer that isn't Ghostface oriented. That'd be new and shocking. So yeah. I think this movie, though, is fine. It's fine. And it conquers all the meta knowledge it needed to. It surpassed all of my expectations in terms of all the critique I've at least heard so far, so there's that. It critiqued what it needed to critique in terms of AI, which I'm a fan of always critiquing AI, because get the fuck out of here, AI, please. That needed to be said every day, with no exception. And with that, I think I'm going to give Screen 7 a 7 out of 10. This movie is fine, it's solid, it's okay. I don't see the big deal, I don't see the disappointment. People are making a big fussy fuss and flood carrot, shut the fuck up. Please, have a critique worth saying something these days. I'm getting really tired of reviewers being as lazy as they are. So yes, Sydney is our icon, once again returning. I believe, now I don't know if this is true, the only movie she wasn't in, I'm pretty sure from what I can remember, is Screen 6, excuse me. But, if I'm not mistaken, I think this might be the most returned character in any horror franchise ever? Am I not wrong on that? Is there a named protagonist that has been as long as many movies as Sydney has been in her own movies in the franchise at this point? I can't think of any character. Ripley died in 3, and then they moved on. Terminator, Arnold was an antagonist, and then a protagonist, and 2, and then from 2 to 3, that'd be 2 movies, and then Genesis is 3 movies, and then Terminator Salvation, I forget which movie used AI for Arnold. I know it was one of them, so I wouldn't count that. So that's only 4. That's not quite there. And that's, horror movie icons. Yeah, I think she might be in the most movies, in repeating succession than anybody at this point. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about that one. So she returns, has her daughter, and of course the killer/killers are after the new group, so they're pretty much after the daughter this time around. And Sydney and the reporter have to join the fray in order to essentially snag the group, while the group partakes in literally every Scream trope that there has ever been, which the most important Scream trope since Scream 1, carried out from every Scream 1 moving forward, is the rules. That has been consistent in every Scream movie. And at this point, I don't think you can drop that scene. I think that scene is a staple of Scream at this point. It has been since its inception, so removing that bit is just... That's when I would fairly criticize Scream at that point. It's like, now what are you actually doing? You're actually trying to destroy the meta and making it more realistic, because the whole point is to point out the rules. That's the key that's like the main like meta point in the entire movie. And having the killers this time be around, be like her neighbor and some other rando kind of guy that uses AI, I think is a refreshing take. You know, one of the quote-unquote rules typically had been for a long time, it's always somebody you knew. And technically, she did know one of them. And technically, Sydney knew both of them to a degree. The degree of separation is significant, I would argue, but I think that still applies, I guess. The daughter's fine. The characters that killed off are, you know, they're there to get killed off, just like every other Scream movie has your opening character who dies. That's been consistent through every Scream movie since its inception, I'm pretty sure. Scream 1 has that as well. So, yeah, consider me, like, again, baffled that this movie's getting critiqued. I don't understand the criticism. I think this movie's fine. You know, they go through, you know, the iconic house. They bring that back because they cannot abandon these locations either at this point. It's like that house has become an iconic house. So yeah, like I said, I would love to see some breaking of meta, but like fusing that into the meta, like again having a different, you know, killer that isn't Ghostface but be the killer, while Ghostface is also a killer, and then the meta conversation would still be the key, the glue that holds, you know, the meta together, as it, the meta franchise together, as it always has been. So there you go, writers of Scream 8 potential. I've given you the keys to the kingdom of what you should do for Scream 8. You're welcome. Please insert money to nowhere, because I don't get paid to do this, except for my one PayPal supporter. But I digress in saying, this movie's fine, everybody's over complaining. I think this franchise is solid, has been solid. And yeah. Like, I don't know what else there is to say about this one. You know, like, they fake out the deaths of the two, I guess they're intern reporters. I don't remember their names off the top of my head, but they were in Scream 6 as well. And then you have your nerdy guy, and, who gets, like, axed off at a certain point. You have Chloe, who gets axed off in the diner area, blah blah blah. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, this is Scream. Like, I'm so baffled. This is just Scream. This hits on everything Scream has been known for. There is no exception except the whole AI bit. That's the only... and that's what the killer did. And boo on the killer for doing it. He deserved to die. I agree. I agree with the movie. I agree with the movie saying about AI. Fuck AI. Yeah, kill it. Kill it if you have to. Shoot it in the head, which is one of the key rules of Scream, if you didn't know. I forget when they introduced that one. I think it's as early as 1. They could have been in 2, though, but it's an early rule. Always shoot him in the head. That's a zombie rule, by the way. Inserted into Scream, so there you go. That was a fun fact for your meta. Oh, so Scream 7, it's fine. I don't know why people are bitching and complaining, and the movie's fine. It's fine. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. That's my review of Scream 7. If you ended up enjoying my review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One, head to my petition about small YouTubers. Second, to my PayPal, where you can help support me and my channel directly. And third, to my Discord server, you can join, collab, shield, and do all that cool stuff, for free. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye!